Today, the Osmo Mobile 3. It's coming soon and we know a lot about it, so let's get going. If we are just meeting for the first time, I'm Felix with Quadcopterguide, and on this channel I help you get the most out of your drone and other filmmaking gear like your gimbals, for example. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. But today let's check out the Osmo Mobile 3 and what is different between it and the Osmo Mobile 2. Do we have any new features? We do. So this is the third revision of the Osmo Mobile series. Originally we had the Osmo Mobile 1, which I actually have one here of still. It was kind of like this with the replaceable battery back then. But it was definitely kind of big and a little clunky. Very solid, but clunky. This new Osmo Mobile 3 promises to be much more compact. So what's new to the Osmo Mobile 3? Well, officially it's called the model OF100, and one of the new differences is on the grip right here, you're going to get a USB-A port. That's just kind of the normal USB port, so you can actually plug in your cell phone charger there and have the other end in your phone in case you have a really power-hungry phone and you want to record a little bit longer. Of course, it'll deplete the internal battery just a little bit faster, but you should get a little bit more life out of your cell phone if you ever have issues with it running out of juice. Another thing that's new is how you kind of fold it to store it. With the Osmo Mobile 1 and 2, you're kind of limited of how you make this thing compact enough. It even came with kind of a pretty large case like this. The new one, if you take a look at these pictures here, the tilt motor has kind of been moved and redesigned. So that's this motor right here. This kind of new way to fold it to store the Osmo Mobile 3 was probably the reason they kind of redesigned that tilt motor and that arm. Your phone no longer has to butt up against the tilt motor like this, and it kind of looks similar to the Ronin S or Ronin SC. So if you're interested in content about the Ronin SC, for example, like that one right there, it's coming up soon also on this channel. So anyways, I think some of the design cues came from the Ronin world, as well as the mobile phone holder part. They've gotten rid of kind of this square rectangular look, which has been on the Osmo Mobile 1 and 2. And the phone holder, if you look at these images here, sure seems to resemble the phone holder on the Ronin SC. I've got one here. They still do have the little twist dial to give you that really safe and kind of confirmed lock for your smartphone, but the kind of grips for the phone are just like these, if not just slightly similar. Also, you no longer have to kind of adjust this arm back here based on your size of your phone to balance it. To balance the phone, you now just move the phone itself right and left. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about it being too heavy on the one side or whatever. You just kind of slide your phone to center it. And that is just part of the calibration that you would do before firing up the Osmo Mobile 3. The Osmo Mobile 3 has gone on a little bit of a diet. It weighs roughly 16-17% less as the Osmo Mobile 2. The Osmo Mobile 2 weighs 485 grams, and this new Osmo Mobile 3 should come in at 405 grams based on the specifications which we found. The mechanical range of the individual axes has increased. Now you have to keep in mind there's mechanical range and controllable range. So mechanical range kind of tells you what is the actual physical limit of these motors, and that is usually greater than the controllable range. So the controllable range is usually a bit less, but based on the FCC paperwork that DJI filed, we know that the mechanical range is greater than on the predecessors. This could be partially due to the way they have to kind of move the motors for the storage, but we don't have details on the controllable range yet, but we expect it to be no less than the Osmo Mobile 1 or 2. The Osmo Mobile 3 uses the same low 1.2 watts of energy to keep the cell phone steady as long as you've got a perfect balance on it, just like the Osmo Mobile 2. The payload that the Osmo Mobile 3 can carry is roughly 230 grams. The Osmo Mobile 2 on the spec sheet, it says 240. The actual numbers on the Osmo Mobile 3 is 200 grams plus minus 30 grams. So essentially that is the same 10 grams here or there. You should be fine with your current smartphone. In terms of what kind of a smartphone it can fit, the length of the device can be less than or equal to 162 millimeters. Diagonally, the device should be less than 180 millimeters, and the thickness with the case should be less than or equal to 9.5 millimeters. The width range is 59 to 88 millimeters, and all these values are essentially just slightly better than the Osmo Mobile 2, so that's good to see. In terms of pricing for the Osmo Mobile 3, we don't have any concrete numbers yet, but I can't imagine it costing more than the Osmo Mobile 2 or a lot more. maybe 10, 20 bucks. So it'll be great to pick up for your smartphone. A lot of these phones do a really good job filming 4K. Some of the phones don't do such a good job of stabilizing electronically. And for those, or if you want to get that super smooth effect, of course, nothing beats an actual physical gimbal. So if you're interested in getting super buttery smooth footage with your smartphone, be sure to check out the Osmo Mobile 3. You can check out all the leaked images so far. I've got a link to the blog down below. And of course, if you're interested in the Osmo Mobile 3, check out the link in the description below on information on how to get your hands on the Osmo Mobile 3 when it comes out. Another interesting thing is the dimensions of the device when it's in its most compact state. So the Osmo Mobile 1 and 2, you couldn't really fold it much more compact than this. You could unscrew this arm and kind of scoot it all the way in. But if you compare the area it displaces in its most compact form, the Osmo Mobile 3, because it kind of folds with that new tilt motor design, it takes up less than half the volume of the Osmo Mobile 1 or 2 when collapsed. So that's pretty cool. Takes up even less space in your backpack when you're out and about or traveling. The Osmo Mobile 3 will work with the existing DJI Mimo app with an update, so it'll have its usual active track and motion time-lapse features as the predecessors. If this video was interesting to you, give that video a like, and I really would like to hear, do you have any experience with smartphone gimbals yourself? Let me know in the comments below if yes or no, and if this Osmo Mobile 3 sounds kind of interesting to you, if you have any questions regarding what specs we know so far about it, or my experience with the Osmo Mobile 1, or the Ronin SC, let me know in the comments below. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, feel free to check out some of this awesome content I've created on the channel.